Welcome back to another episode of The Quest for Self. I'm your host, Allie. Recently, I went on what might have been the worst date of my life. I was severely catfished, and honestly, it changed the way I think about dating entirely. In this episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about dating burnout. Honestly, this is something I've been feeling really strong about lately. And I think it's so important to recognize it, understand where it's coming from, and know when to pause. So if you're feeling tired of dating apps, struggling with catfish culture, or wondering how to meet people in real life again, this episode is for you. A few weeks ago, I went on what was hands down the worst date I've ever been on. I basically got catfished. We had only exchanged a couple of messages, and I'm not someone who enjoys texting endlessly before meeting. I like getting to know someone in person, seeing their energy, how they talk, how they carry themselves. So when somebody asks to meet up after a couple exchanges, I usually say yes. While I totally understand that others require getting past the initial questions, filtering questions, I feel like that's all too scripted for me. And hey, if the person and I didn't click, at least I got to check out a new restaurant or a new bar. For me, only exchanging a few messages and immediately going on a date feels a lot more efficient. Well, this guy looked very attractive in the pictures. We set a time and place to meet, and when I got there, I was shocked. He looked at least 10 to 15 years older than his photos. Not just older, completely different. The guy in the photos wasn't the guy in front of me. I really tried to be polite, but honestly, I was so upset. To this day, I just don't see the point of this. I make sure my own pictures are accurate and recent, within the last 6 months or a year max. Because the last thing I want is for someone to feel misled when they meet me. And that's something I've heard often from people I go on dates with. You look exactly like your pictures. I'm like, yeah, I should. That shouldn't be surprising. For many people, it actually is. Look, I get it. We live in an era where we have so many tools at our fingertips. Tools to enhance ourselves and make our pictures look better. But what do people who do this actually think they're going to get out of it? I mean, once they meet the other person, do they just think that the other person's going to fall for their personality and overlook the fact that the person and the profile just don't align? So anywho, I sat through dinner, but I was so uncomfortable the entire time. I didn't want to be rude, but I also didn't want to be there. I ended up saying I had a friend's birthday, finished dinner, and he even walked me a bit on my way. Look, if the guy had at least been nice, I would have offered him at least a chance to be friends. But he kept joking about how old my dog was, like it was funny. And I snapped. I told him, say one more thing about my dog and I will get up and leave. I think he got the message. He texted me that same night, then again the next day. And at first, I ignored it. But I felt like I needed to say something. So I put together a message and I sent him a message saying things as nicely as I could. That I didn't think the photos in his profile were an accurate representation of who he is now. I let him know it could really upset some people, and that it's just not fair. He got super defensive about it, which I didn't exactly expect. And well, I just archived that chat and moved on. But the truth is, that date really stuck with me. It left a sour taste in my mouth and kind of pushed me to take a break from dating apps altogether. Honestly, dating apps are starting to feel like a second part-time job for me. Since at Catfish, or AKA the worst day of my life, if I'm connecting with someone via the apps, I'm changing how I approach things. Number one, Instagram exchange to at least take a look at what recent photos they have posted and verify that the person on the profile reflects those photos. Two, another thing I haven't tried, but a lot of my friends have suggested it, is a FaceTime call. Some people do this. I mean, it's not just to check how the person looks, but also how they could talk, what things you could connect on. Even if it's just a 5-minute call, it's also great to check the vibe out. Number three, if opening the apps doesn't spark any excitement, that's your sign. Take a break. No shame in that. I've really felt the shift. These past couple of weeks, my focus has not been on the apps, which leads me to number four. Focus on real world experiences, things you enjoy doing. Hang out more at the gym, dog parks, places you enjoy, places that other people would also frequent based on their and your hobbies or lifestyle. So here's what I've been doing instead. And honestly, it's been so refreshing. One, I signed up for this app where people who play paddle can connect and play matches with. Playing matches with complete strangers. Number two, although I'm not an avid runner, I joined a running club. They do weekly events, and it's been such a refreshing way to meet people who already share something I love: movement. Number three, I've been really pushing myself to spark up random conversations at the gym, in elevators, in line at grocery stores. Even if it's small talk, it's building that muscle. It helps me get more comfortable talking to strangers just because. Not with the intention of dating, but with the intention of connecting. Number four, I've started asking people for their Instagram before meeting, especially if it's an online app, right? It might sound a little extra, but honestly, it's a quick way to make sure the photos line up, that they're recent, real, and that there's some consistency there. Five, I also see now why people insist on a quick FaceTime before meeting. I used to think it was weird, but after that date, I get it. Even just a 5-minute video chat can save you from a really awkward night. So, if you're feeling dating app fatigue, I just want to say it's completely valid. Give yourself permission to take a break. You don't have to force connections when you're burnt out. Instead, use that time to try new things. Sign up for a class. Say yes to more invites. Explore hobbies that fill you up. You'd be surprised how many connections are out there waiting to happen naturally. And remember, you don't have to wait to be approached. A smile, eye contact, a little hey, it goes a long way. Sometimes others are just as nervous as we are. We've been conditioned to think we should be chased, but honestly, confidence is attractive on anyone. That's where I'm at right now. I'm still open to love, still curious, still hopeful. But I'm also honoring where I am and protecting my energy. And that feels like the healthiest place to date from. You don't owe anyone your time. And love? It finds you when you're busy living your fullest life. So take the pressure off. Trust your timing. Protect your peace. And know that every step you take, even the messy ones, are leading you toward a better version of yourself. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Quest for Self. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. It would mean the world. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, The Quest for Self.